What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with the MLB Power Rankings for Week 10. See where your favorite team ranks in this week's rankings, as there's lots of movement within the top 10 and even the top 5. But make sure you hit that subscribe button down below to be entered into our giveaway at 500 subscribers. But first, I'll start with the hitters of the week. We have Corey Seager and Mookie Betts. And Seager, since he came off the injured list, he has been great. And, last week had a great week as well, 10 RBIs. 407 average, and really keeping the Rangers just, trucking along. This Rangers team has been great so far this season, and adding his bat now consistently to the lineup just makes this team even better. And then Mookie Betts had a great week as well, had two home run games, one against the Nationals and one against the Yankees, and then 360 average. So, he is one of the top players in baseball, and he proved it yet again this week. And now we're going to move to the pitchers of the week, and we got Marcus Stroman and Bobby Miller, a teammate of Mookie Betts. And Bobby Miller, 2 games of 6 innings pitched, limited the Yankees to 1 hit. And, it's interesting because he has only had 3 career starts, and he has looked excellent this year so far in those 3 starts. And it's a bright spot for the Dodgers as they just keep finding guys that plug and play and prospects that come up and make an immediate impact. Where you have Marcus Stroman, who had a complete game 1 hit shutout against the Tampa Bay Rays. Yes, the Tampa Bay Rays, the best team in baseball this year. And he also got another win and another quality start in 6 innings pitched as well against the Padres. And, he's having a great year now and looking to possibly be a trade deadline candidate if they decide on selling Stroman, or if they could keep him. They could build around him and possibly bring in someone else to make the rotation a little bit scarier there in Chicago. And then we'll go over to the team of the week, where it is the Toronto Blue Jays. They went 5-1 last week, beating the Brewers 2-1, and then swept the Mets 3-0. And this team, how are they doing it? They are doing it on both sides of the ball. The pitching has been great, very consistent out of their starters. 4 out of the 5 have been great this year. Third in hitting. They're getting on base and putting the ball in play, making it tough on defenses. And the only downside, they're 4th in the AL East with a 33-27 record. And that division is just going to beat up on itself. You might see possibly 4 playoff teams from the AL East. I don't think you will, but there's a really good chance that you're going to see at least 3. And they just need Manoah to get back to last year. And he has been struggling mightily this year. And if he can put a few good starts before the All-Star break together, then I think they're going to be just fine. And then possibly at the deadline, they could add an outfielder, Kiermaier, Varsho, and Springer. It's a decent outfield. And then DH, you have Brandon Belt. But I think they need to get at least one more bat that's controllable that they could see for the foreseeable future. And here we have 6 teams, 3 moving up and 3 moving down. And they are the biggest movers of the week. The Marlins, Pirates, and Twins are the biggest movers going up and going in the right direction, where the Mariners, Cardinals, and Phillies are, disappointing to say the least, moving down a ton. And at 30 through 21, you have more than likely the teams you think would be down here. A's, Royals, Rockies, Nationals. Those teams were projected to be down in the bottom of the barrel at this point in the season. Then it gets a little shocking. You have the Cardinals at 26, and I've pretty much given up on them. They now have the worst record in the National League and 3rd worst in MLB besides the Royals and A's. So this Cardinals team really needs to figure some things out. But luckily, they do play in the NL Central, where the Brewers and Pirates are the only decent teams right now, and the Cubs and Reds, as you can see there, are floating around the same range as the Cardinals, so they could go 5-0, 6-0 in a week, and they're right back into the things. And then you have the Tigers and White Sox in between, the other NL Central. You got the AL Central. Tigers had a rough week, a lot of injuries this week. And we're going to see how they're going to move going forward with their injuries they're dealing with. And it pretty much looks like they, now with Riley Green out, it sucked the life out of that team. Where the White Sox come in with a 4-2 week, and they're starting to heat up, starting to figure some things out. So I definitely wouldn't count them out yet. If they're still sitting around 500 All-Star break, then this team really has a chance. And then even the Guardians in the AL Central. So you already have 4 of the AL Central teams here in the 30 through 21, and you have 3 of the NL Central teams here in the 30 through 21. So by far, those are the 2 worst divisions in baseball this year. 20 through 11. Now this is where it gets interesting. Lots of movement, and not just one or two. It's at least three or plus here. You got the Giants moving down 4 after, and the Phillies moving down 5 after a bad week. Then you got the Pirates moving up 5 after a 5-1 week. The Padres staying put at 3-3. And then you got the Mariners falling way out of the top 10 after their abysmal week and getting swept. Same with the Mets. You know, they did get swept against the Blue Jays, but they're still moving up because they got a sweep themselves, and they're sitting right in the middle of baseball, 30-30, the only team that is 500 right now at this point. And then the Marlins, I think, have been the team that has not got enough love so far this year. They're moving up 6, and I'm finally giving them enough credit. They're 32-20 in the NL East, in second place above those Mets and the Phillies. And the only team they're trailing, well, are the Atlanta Braves. And, you know, the Braves are the Braves. They're going to be good every year, it seems like, for a long period of time. But the Marlins are doing this on consistent hitting and a good staff that, you know, isn't getting a lot of credit. And Sandy hasn't been dealing like he was last year. So the Marlins could see themselves jump into the top 10 if they have another good week like they did last week. Angels and Red Sox are staying put after an okay week. Then the Twins are moving up 4 after 4-3 week. And just more or less because they have a better record and played some good games against some good teams last week. And starting the top 10, at 10, I have the Brewers jumping back up into the top 10. They went 4-2 last week, a good week for them. They got lots to figure out, you know, in the NL Central. They got some easier games, I guess you want to say, just because of how bad that division is. The Blue Jays at 9, 5-1, the team of the week. They're staying put, but they did have a very good week in sweeping the Mets. Dodgers at 8, moved down 2 after just a 500 week. My Diamondbacks, the team I picked early in the season to make the playoffs, they are looking great. Went 5-2 last week, 35-25, and currently tied in the NL West for the lead. And Corbin Carroll, they just called up Jake McCarthy again. The young guys are really showing out, and I don't think a lot of people saw this coming. They did have a lot of promise coming into this year, but being this good this early was very shocking to a lot of people, and I think it's going to keep rolling going on through the rest of the year. But, you know, come September, that's when the Dodgers pick it up, so they're going to have to play some good baseball when it counts the most. At 6, the Braves drop out of the top 5 for the first time in a while after their 3-3 week. And then the Yankees and Astros are moving up after their winning weeks, and, you know, they had some tough series, but they got the wins in those. And then to round out the top 3, it goes Baltimore, Texas, and still Tampa Bay on top. And Texas is really, in my opinion, vying for that one spot. I think right now, if Texas has exact same week this week and Tampa does next week, you might see Texas at number 1 just because of how good they have been playing as of late. And, you know, statistically, they are the best offense in baseball. I mean, when you have Nathaniel Lau, Adolis Garcia, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, I mean, those 4 guys right there, it's just a tough 4 guys to get out. And, you know, they're not all power threats, but this year it seems like they have been. And it's just not a lineup you want to face right now just because of how good they have been. Even Mitch Garver has been great for them. So Josh Young, he just came out of nowhere, and he's putting up career numbers, obviously possibly earning some MVP votes at the end of the year. So this Rangers team, I'm hyping them up. And they don't even have DeGrom. Yes, they don't have their best starting pitcher. He's only made 6 starts for this team. So if he can get fully healthy and stay healthy, this Rangers team could be a threat to not only win the AL West, to win the AL pennant as well this year. But that's going to be it for this week's video. Make sure you guys come back next week to see where your team ranks and who's moving up and who's moving down after some good baseball in the first week of June. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.